So I'll just close with this. One of the nicest things that's happened to me in my life since I left the White House is having the opportunity to work with former President Bush in the tsunami and the Katrina areas. And after I did the tsunami work for a while, the then Secretary General Kofi Annan asked me to spend a couple of years trying to just oversee the rest of the rebuilding effort. Just like Katrina, the worst thing about one of these deals is getting everybody else back in their homes. It's just an endless nightmare. And particularly in Indonesia, where most people were the largest number were displaced, and the weather is highly uncomfortable most of the time, especially if you're living in the mud. So as the UN coordinator, I had to go back once, and I went to one of these refugee camps just so people could vent their frustrations at me, and I could listen to them. So I get to the camp, and I learned that every camp had elected a leader. So this leader would take me through the camp and tell me what was wrong. So I get out, I meet the leader, his wife, and his son. And I look down at this little boy, and by the way, I had an interpreter who had been a young Indonesian television person who then went into this work because she wanted to help her country. So I shook hands with the leader, I shook hands with his wife, and I looked down at this little boy, and I just gasped. I couldn't breathe. I thought this child was the single most beautiful little boy I had ever seen in my life. And I said to the interpreter, I don't know that I have ever seen a more beautiful child. And she said, oh, he's very beautiful. And before the tsunami, he had 9 brothers and sisters, and they're all gone. But here was this guy and his wife there with 1 kid left, more than happy to step forward and be the leader of all the people living in the camp, 40,000 people, with a smile on his face, a smile on her face. He took me through that camp, never one time showed any sense of remorse or self-indulgence. All he wanted to talk to me about was what the people who elected him needed. He was liberated, not imprisoned by his giving. And he lost a lot more than nearly anybody in this room could ever lose. So then we get to the end of the tour. The last stop on the tour was the health clinic, where they're dealing with all these different problems. And I looked up, and there was the man's wife, a mother who had lost 9 of her 10 children, holding a 2-day-old baby in her arms. The newest baby in the camp, with a smile on her face. And I learned that, because I knew she wasn't the mother of the baby, that she had brought the baby to see me because in their culture, and now I'm going to get in a lot of trouble all over the world when I say this. In their culture, when a woman has a baby, she gets to go to bed for 40 days, be waited on hand and foot, and has to do nothing for 40 days. And then she gets up and they name the kid, right? But this woman says, we are honored by your visit. This is our youngest child. We want you to name him. So I looked at this baby and I said, do you have a word for a new beginning? And the interpreter talks to the woman, they talk back and forth, and the interpreter turns to me, she said, yeah, lucky for you. In our language, the word dawn is a boy's name, not a girl's. The mother says, we will name this child Dawn, and he will symbolize our new beginning. Why do I tell you this? We should not, any of us, have to encounter people who have lost everything. We shouldn't have to walk alongside a man and woman who lost 9 of their 10 children. We should not have to see their courage, their heart, and their giving to follow their example. That's why we do this, to move from I wish to I will. God bless you all.